Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Joe Biden had dinner with Hunter and his business associates, including Yelena Baturina, a Russian tech and energy oligarch who was married to the mayor of Moscow at the time. Hunter then received $3.5 million in payouts from Baturina. She was not sanctioned after the invasion of Crimea. Joe Biden has maintained for years that he was not involved in his son's business dealings. Yet we have proof that Joe Biden attended business dinners with his son while he was Vice President of the United States of America. Here you have an excerpt from Devon Archer's transcribed interview. On the screen, if we could get that up there. During his interview, Archer testified to the fact that on multiple occasions, then Vice President Joe Biden attended functions with business associates of his and Hunter Biden. One such example is laid out on the screen for us. Mr. Archer is explaining here that in the spring of 2014, if we could get this slide up, Devon and Hunter had dinner at Cafe Milano with several of their business associates. One of these attendees was Yelena Baturina. Ms. Baturina was, at the time, the richest woman in Russia, and she was married to the former mayor of Moscow, as previously stated. Interestingly, on February 14th, 2014, Ms. Baturina wired Hunter Biden and Devon Archer $3.5 million. It is still uncertain what legitimate service Hunter Biden provided to Ms. Baturina in exchange for this large sum of money, if any at all. Furthermore, it is concerning how Hunter Biden and Devon Archer moved this money from bank account to bank account. And it is also convenient that the U.S. government never placed Ms. Baturina on their public sanctions list after Russia invaded Crimea. This billionaire continued to invade public sanctions lists even after Russia invaded Ukraine. I want these facts to be clear to the American people. The billionaire continued to evade the public sanctions lists after Russia invaded Ukraine. Joe Biden's attendance at this dinner shows that Joe Biden's involvement in Hunter Biden's deals was more than just the illusion of access. It was access. There were direct benefits leading to Hunter and his business partners after Joe's attendance at this Cafe Milano dinner. This pay-to-play type of engagement was selling direct access to Joe Biden and the office of the Vice President of the United States. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter to the record the third bank records memorandum produced by this committee on Oversight and Accountability on August 9th, 2023.
Without objection, to ordered.
Mr. Turley, as an expert on constitutional issues and impeachment, where does selling access to an executive office fall in terms of what justifies an impeachment inquiry, and what is deemed an impeachable offense?
Well, it's two separate questions. What I've suggested is for the four areas for articles of impeachment that you can explore, you can look at some of the criminal code, and that includes things like bribery under 201, Hobbs, the Hobbs Act cases, and those have different standards that I think are relevant. In terms of the impeachable standard itself, there's been obviously decades of debate about that. I would hope that there would be general agreement that public corruption, if the president engaged
selling any access,
right? If
yes.
if he engaged in public corruption involving
any sort of peddling of influence. Now, as a follow-up, in previous impeachment inquiries, have actions such as influence peddling and pay-to-play schemes like this been deemed as offensive to the conscience of the American people in such a way to warrant an investigation?
Well, I think that there's certainly a basis for this inquiry to go forward. My position is simply that this is early on in an inquiry in terms of linking these, which are still just allegations, to the president, and that's the linkage you have to establish.
Thank you, Mr. Turley. It is far time for Joe Biden to stop lying to the American people about his shady foreign business deals. He intentionally misled the American people by using complex maneuvers to pocket millions of dollars from our adversary. He lied when he was vice president. He lied as a candidate to gain the office of President of the United States. Now, this committee has uncovered the truth, and it is time to impeach this compromised commander-in-chief. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Lady yields back.
Chairman, point of order, if I could. I didn't want to interrupt the good gentlelady from Colorado, but you cannot engage in personalities against the President of the United States.
We've established that, Mr. Ranking Member. Thank
Okay,
you.
and so you cannot say that Joe Biden lied. First of all, he didn't lie.
Mr.
But
Ranking Member,
even if
we've
he had
established
to,
this at
you
the beginning of the
can't say
hearing.
it. You can't say it, Mr. Chairman. I hope you
This
agree
is-
with me.
this
You get a
is-
ruling from
this
the
is-
parliamentarian.
This is,
I
thank
can
you, Mr.
provide you all the
Thank you, Mr.
cases.
This
Chair.
is this.
I have a unanimous,
Reclaiming order. Chair now recognizes Mr. Ivy.
I have a unanimous consent motion before Mr. Ivey goes.
Mr. Goldman.
I would like to reintroduce once again the Devin Archer transcript and especially point to when he says that Hunter
Mr.
Biden
Goldman,
was
Mr.
not
Goldman,
involved
we've re-entered it.
in the
This
Yelena
will be the fifth
Ballerina
time.
$3.5
Without
million.
objection, we've re-entered the Devin Archer transcript for the fifth time. Now, Chair recognizes